I guess I've been doing better, energy-wise. I've been more productive lately. I work out during the week when nobody's home, which is like a short span of time, which is really good for my mental health. I feel really good after I work out or dance or, like, I don't know, move profusely, furiously. I don't know, it makes me go in like the best headspace to get stuff done. Once I do that, I feel 10 times more productive. I want to vacuum, I want to get dishes done, I want to do laundry, other stuff, clean the room, maybe write. Yeah, it's been better. People haven't been hounding me to do things that make me, well, maybe I can just tell you now. I had a job over the summer. It was at a summer camp. I was there for music, teaching the songs for the musicals they would put on, and teaching vocal lessons. And the choreographer last minute quit, so I did that because I'm good at it, and I was confident, so I was like, sure, I'll do that. I had to take care of 6 girls with another counselor, which was not planned. I really didn't want to do that because I'm an extreme introvert, which makes me look aloof and not caring about anyone, and that had an effect on me and my co-counselor's relationship because I keep people at an arm's length, and that usually makes them distance themselves from me. So it's difficult. It was difficult that way, and I thought of everybody else before myself. I don't know, the stress was humongous because 2 people quit, the assistant director and the one in charge of acting and characterization. They were nice girls, but they just didn't like the department head, which I knew personally. She's the one who got me the job, or recommended me. And she's the one who got me started in musical theater in the first place. So I had to take on those 2 jobs, and that was more stress on my plate. I had no time at all. And on duty stuff, which was like putting certain bunks to bed, it was fine, but if I had it was so low staffed, so short staffed, that I had to take care of 4 bunks at once, and it just stressed me the hell out. And you couldn't go back to your bunk until a counselor came back, which makes sense, but like some people were like on the dot, they had to be back by 12:30. So like I had to stay up so late every night because like even when I wasn't on duty, I just didn't want to come back to my girls being awake. Like I loved my girls. Like I just did not want to live with them. And they were 9-year-olds, so of course they're like full of freaking energy, and I was not. So I tried my best because introverts with low energy or no energy get crabby, and I didn't want to be like that around my girls. So I had to put on an act every single day. Sometimes I couldn't keep it up. Like looking after them was just making sure things didn't blow up. So I would just be on my bunk and just like reading, maybe journaling. That was not good for me. Sometimes it did help, but sometimes it didn't. My co-counselor was like, "You're not watching them." And I was like, I'm just making sure, like, even if they're crazy, just let them be crazy. If something gets out of hand, I'll handle it. Because I couldn't handle more. Eventually, there was two other people still working in what we called the pause program. They were good people, but they just seemed like they didn't work hard at all. And and they were just off. Of course, they came at their scheduled time and did what they needed to do, but they didn't help out extra after that. I cleaned the whole stage, the floors, and when it was like the last 2 weeks when no musicals were going on, it was all just clean it up, put all the costumes in bins, and after the first and second day, they were helping out very, very slowly. Very, very slowly. Like, I could have got that done way faster. Of course, I'm not like bashing them or anything, but I was working so hard on absolutely no energy. And it was frustrating, especially after there were other shows that we didn't have to like really have anything to do with except for make sure that they cleaned it up, but they never did. They got paint all over the stage, which I had to paint over, and we told them over and over again not to paint on the stage. And yeah, it was, yeah, I was in there alone doing everything. And once the department head had to leave like a week and a half early, so, or even 2 weeks early, so I became the department head. I literally did scenery, department head, I directed a show, I assistant directed a show, I did all the acting, dancing, and singing. The department head, did all the blocking, like telling them where to be in certain places. But other than that, I did absolutely everything. And having to take care of 6 girls on top of that with one other person who was distancing themselves from me really, really upset me. Like, who wouldn't be upset after that? And having no sleep because you had to get up at like 8. And like, I'm a person who I'm not a morning person at all. Oh my god, it was so much. Thinking about it makes me I can't. And we had a staff meeting every Sunday. It was 7 weeks, so staff meeting every Sunday. Sometimes it couldn't be Sunday, so we left it off to another day, but still we had a staff meeting every week. The department heads would come up, and department heads and group heads, which were like the divisions of girls by their age. So the juniors, which was my place. I wish I had older girls because we had to look after them all the time, and with all my responsibilities, I really had to leave it to my other co-counselor, which I felt so bad. But I guess she really put it against me or something. I never got recognized. Like, after a while, I didn't care about being recognized at first. But the last 2 weeks, I kind of got livid because everybody should have known what I was going through. I literally had 5 anxiety attacks and 2 panic attacks. I had an attack every week. And of course I would hide it. But there were people who saw. There were people who saw and just walked by. It did make me feel better that people wanted to know if I was okay, but there was only one person, and that was during a panic attack in front of many, many people, or people who were around. I just felt so alone. I was 6 hours from my home, where I live, and there was no one but my good friend and department head until she had to leave for 2 weeks at the end. So I was alone. I felt so unbearably alone. I didn't want to call my mom because I would start bawling even more than I was. So I just could text her. I only texted her once when I was having a problem because that was my first panic attack. And there was someone on duty near the staff lounge. It was one of the male older counselors, and people passed by me to go into the lounge. Nobody checked up on me. I was there the entire break that I had until 12:20 or something. So from 9 to 12, I was crying my eyes out. It was not good. Anxiety attacks I usually hid. Panic attacks I couldn't help. That was the first panic attack, maybe third weekend panic attack. And I think the last week, or the second to last week, was when I had the other, when we were doing, thank God I had nothing to do with it, but I just told them the rules. They didn't listen to like the paint on the stage, and I had to sweep up everything. Nobody helped me clean up afterwards, so that was another thing. But when we were working on the staff performance, which was put together by the alumni, which thank God, but I had no interest in it, but I did it anyway. I was in where we usually build the props, which is like right behind the stage. There's no door behind. I was sitting in a chair and there was no door behind, and it led right to the stage. We were about to pick our song that we were going to sing for our juniors, which was going to be very sweet, but I don't remember exactly what happened, because like everybody was there. Maybe it was just being in a crowd, everything that was going on, but I just had to get out of there somewhere, but still be around if they wanted me to come back, or I don't know. So I was sitting in that chair, I was shaking violently, I was crying. Talking about it makes it, it was not good. And that's the only time a person came up to me. I have her contact info, she's a good person. She's the only one who asked how I was doing, but she didn't ask further because they called her back. So I was just sitting there trying to calm myself down for like 30 to 45 minutes. I didn't learn the song. I just mouthed it during the performance, and I didn't know what the song was. So thank God we had papers in front, but I just didn't know. The only other person I really trusted was the like art department head, really, because he really sympathized with me and my department head about everything that was going on and how unfair it was. At least I still had somewhat of an adult there to, I don't know, maybe confide in, but not, I don't know, I didn't really want to bother anyone. That's another thing. I don't like being a burden. I don't like bothering people. So when it came time for days off, I would sleep all day. And we could only have our days off in the last 2 weeks because we were so busy in pause. Except for some people who just took days off, even though they had to work. I don't know, I just felt so neglected. I felt alone. I learned some things, for sure. You learn from bad experiences. But it's made me not want to get a job again. That reinforced my distrust in people. I did make friends there that like kept me going. Like those were that I could confide in, which was really nice. But most of the time we couldn't talk to each other because we were taking care of the girls or doing our department stuff. So it was so difficult. The only time we could have together was when it was stuff other people were organizing that we had nothing to do with, and we could take a breather, really. Those were good days. But the only thing that really solidified for me is that I want to teach vocal lessons. Like, that was the most rewarding thing when I was there. Especially the older girls. The older girls were amazing. The fact that they really wanted to learn how to sing better. They could sing. They were so amazing and so talented There was one who was gonna audition for something in New York, and I was teaching her how to mix, and she was looking for me, and I felt bad that I couldn't be there because I was with my girls. I would have rather been with her. I would have rather just worked all day and pause. Just stick me in one place. That's all I really wanted. And then on one of my days off, there was a girl we had a little reserved cabin for counselors who had a day off, who wanted to get out of their cabin. So she was just like living in there, and I asked her why, and she was like, I just couldn't take my girls anymore. Like, I love them, but I just couldn't. So I asked the director of the camp to please just move me in here. And I was just like, I wish I would have done that. It was like the last week, really. So I was just like, can't do that now. If I knew that, I would have asked. But also, I don't think I would have had the courage to ask because I just don't like bothering people. I don't like causing people trouble. But apparently I do anyway, which somehow pushes people away and they don't talk. Which is why I value communication with anyone, really. Say it to my face and I won't care as long as you can fix it. But yeah, it was the worst experience of my life, working anywhere, and I've had bad jobs. I've had bad jobs, but that was one of the worst. It was a beautiful place, mind you, if I had the time to really appreciate it, but I didn't. Yeah, sorry I was ranting, but it was just a big thing that has really affected me now. Because I don't want to work anywhere because I don't trust people. Of course, there are very rare people that I do trust, but it's very rare. And I don't want to be stepped on again. I don't want to be literally a rug under people's feet, being underestimated, not recognized when I need to be. Like, I'm not one for attention at all. Like, I don't want the attention on me unless I deserve it, if I feel I deserve it. But people think I didn't deserve it. Maybe it's because I was so quiet, maybe it's because I was too exhausted. I tried to make it obvious that my mood was going down. Like, I was free, in a way, with my facial expressions. I wasn't trying to hide anything anymore, because I was reaching out, really. The only one who really helped was the art department head and my department head. They were the only ones. It was just us three, and then it was just us two, which, with no musicals to put on, he was doing his thing over there. So I was just alone. It's the most alone I've ever felt, because I was so far away. I had no one at that point. No one. Nobody understood that. Nobody cared, really. I did have people to talk to, but they must have understood, but it wasn't their problem. Which is why I feel like a burden whenever I tell someone anything, which is why I don't anymore. So yeah, solidifying a thing. 1, I want to work in a place where I want to work. Anything musical theater that I'm good at, that I'm confident at. 2, I love teaching private vocal lessons so much that I want to do it. I know how to do it. And I feel good doing it. It's rewarding. Seeing the progress, seeing a student really get it, having it click in their head and seeing that is so rewarding. 3, I really need to work on myself because I know most things were probably my fault. I don't know. I don't think there's anything wrong with me. I just have a lot of stuff wrong with me But there's nothing wrong with me. Really, I don't think so. That's how I felt since I was little. Nobody really understood me. I could clearly tell I was being made fun of when I was little, but I just laughed it off and, you know? But I always felt like there was something wrong with me. Because I love myself, but I also hate myself. Like, I love who I am. I'm the best company for myself. I love being alone, but in a place where I'm close to people that I know, that I really know. Even if I can't confide in them, hopefully I can figure more things out. I had an epiphany, like, I don't know, a day ago, about something, about my mental health, which I can probably address later in another video, in the next video. But yeah, I guess that's it for that rant. Well, there's one thing I want to mention. There was one of in orientation at that place. The director of the camp was telling us about how this girl made a YouTube video bashing their camp, and I was like, the thing is, that's her feelings. She must have felt really alone. I'm kind of doing the same thing because there was a lot wrong. They made girls, there was traditions there that I think need to change, because there was one musical we were doing, and one of the girls was having behavioral issues, and I was doing way too much, so I didn't know what was wrong, but I tried to encourage her, and they have to make everyone perform. No backstage help, no tech, people who just want to be in the background. No, everyone had to perform. Everyone had to be on stage. But this girl was so terrified to be on stage. She did not want to be up there. And I understood how she felt because I used to have horrible stage fright. So I understand that, but yeah, she was allowed not to perform. But the fact that that's even happening when people would be more comfortable not being front and center, even if they're not, I find that horrible. Performing is supposed to be fun. Pause is supposed to be fun. So I think that needs to be reshaped. I'm not bashing it in any way, but I feel like for the girls' mental health and their confidence, really, build them up in a different way that still has to do with performing. I don't know. That's just my take. There was a lot more things wrong, but nowhere's perfect. There's a lot I could have changed. I wish I could change for the sake of those girls. Anyway, I guess that's the end. Just wanted to mention that there was another person bashing them on YouTube. I'm not giving any specifics, so I don't know, unless someone who knows me from there sees this. Yeah, it was, as you can see from this rant, it was not a good experience. I'm just really good at hiding things. Except I wasn't. I was putting everything out there. Bye from the rant.